For years, Filipinos have sacrificed everything, leaving home, chasing dreams abroad, sending money back to family. But in 2025, something is happening. From the skyscrapers of New York to the deserts of Saudi Arabia, thousands of Pinoys are packing up and leaving. The jobs drying up. The dream more expensive than ever. And in some countries, Filipinos are no longer welcome. So what changed? And more importantly, could your country be next? Stay with me because this is bigger than you think. All right, let's talk about Italy, the land of pasta, pizza, and picture-perfect landscapes. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, not so much anymore. For years, Italy was one of the top destinations for Filipinos seeking work. The culture, familiar. The food, chef's kiss. The job opportunities, endless, or at least they used to be. But now, Filipinos are leaving. And fast. Why? What changed? And most importantly, is Italy still worth it in 2025? Stick around because what we found will shock you. And before we dive in, smash that like button. It helps get this information out to more Filipinos looking for answers. So why is Italy losing its Filipino workforce? Simple, the economy is struggling, unemployment rates are climbing, and let's be real, when locals can't find jobs, foreign workers suffer first. Work permit renewals, suddenly a nightmare. Cost of living skyrocketing. Rome, Milan, rent is eating up salaries faster than a plate of carbonara. And for those in domestic work, some are facing lower wages or even being replaced altogether. Take Lisa, a Filipina caregiver who's been in Italy for 15 years. She says, "Noon ang dali may trabaho maipon. Mayon, mohal na lahat tapos mas mahigpit pa sa mangdok yon." Before, it was easy. There were jobs, there were savings. Now, everything's expensive and getting papers is harder. And guess what? She's not alone. Many OFWs are making the toughest decision of their lives, to leave behind a country they once called home. So what's next for Filipinos in Europe? Where are they heading now that Italy isn't cutting it anymore? The answer might just surprise you. Stay tuned. For decades, Saudi Arabia has been the land of opportunity for countless Filipinos. The allure of tax-free income, abundant jobs in construction, healthcare, and domestic sectors, and the chance to uplift families back home made it a top destination for our kababayans. From the bustling streets of Riyadh to the oil-rich fields of Dhahran, Filipinos have been integral to the kingdom's workforce. But as 2025 unfolds, the landscape is shifting dramatically. Take the story of Roberto, a skilled welder from Cebu. In 2010, he left the Philippines with dreams of earning a better livelihood. For years, he worked diligently, sending remittances to support his children's education and build a modest home. However, recent policy changes have turned his once stable world upside down. What's causing this upheaval? The Saudi government has intensified its Saudization efforts, officially known as the Nitakat program. This initiative aims to increase employment opportunities for Saudi nationals by imposing higher quotas on local hires across various industries. In 2025, the Ministry of Human Resources and Social Development announced that professions such as medical laboratories, physiotherapy, radiology, and therapeutic nutrition must achieve Saudization rates ranging from 65% to 80%. The impact on OFWs like Roberto is profound. Job security. With companies mandated to hire more Saudi nationals, many Filipinos face non-renewal of contracts or worse, sudden termination. Legal complexities. Recent amendments to the labor law grant the ministry authority to deny work permit renewals if employers violate Saudization criteria or other regulations. This adds a layer of uncertainty for foreign workers. Cultural adjustments. The conservative nature of Saudi society, coupled with limited social freedoms, makes daily life challenging. The lack of recreational activities and strict cultural norms can lead to feelings of isolation. Roberto, after 15 years of service, was informed that his position would now be filled by a local hire. With limited options, he faces the daunting decision of either accepting a lower-paying job or returning to the Philippines. His story is not unique. Many OFWs are grappling with similar dilemmas. But there's a silver lining. Neighboring countries like the United Arab Emirates, UAE, and Qatar are actively seeking skilled workers. The UAE, for instance, has a significant Filipino community with over 679,000 Filipinos calling it home. These nations offer more liberal social environments and diverse job opportunities, making them attractive alternatives. Your voice matters. Are you or someone you know affected by these changes in Saudi Arabia? What steps are you considering in light of this evolving situation? Share your experiences and insights in the comments below. Let's support each other through these challenging times. For our new viewers, if you haven't joined the Insider family yet, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Stay updated with stories that matter to Filipinos worldwide. Don't go anywhere. Up next, we're uncovering another country where Filipinos are making waves and changing the game. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Something strange is happening in Japan. The once dreamland for Filipino workers, it's losing its shine. Filipinos are packing their bags, walking away, and saying sayonara in record numbers. Why? What changed? Is Japan no longer worth it? Or is something bigger at play? Stick with me because this gets wild. Imagine this, you land in Tokyo, your pockets full of dreams. You see bright city lights, you hear the hum of a world that never sleeps, and you think, this is my fresh start. That's exactly how Mark felt. He left Manila in 2018 thinking Japan would be his golden ticket. High salary, a stable job in manufacturing, and a chance to build a future. Fast forward to 2025, he's done. He's tired, broke, and questioning everything. And he's not alone. You can work hard, you can be the best at what you do, but in Japan, if you don't speak near perfect Nihongo, you hit a wall. Want a raise? No Nihongo, no promotion. Want to switch jobs? No Nihongo, no options. And here's the scary part. A 2024 report from Japan's Ministry of Justice found that foreign workers are getting stuck in dead-end jobs because they can't meet the insane language demands. Mark, he's been in the same factory job for 6 years with zero career growth. Is that the dream or is that a trap? Japan is famous for its work ethic, but there's a fine line between discipline and self-destruction. Ever heard of karoshi? It literally means death from overwork. 12-hour shifts? Normal. Going home before your boss? Unacceptable. Collapsing from exhaustion? Happens more than you think. Mark jokes, dati sa Pinas may tulog mode, dito may pate sa pagod mode. Back home we had sleep mode, here we have dead from exhaustion mode. But it's not really a joke, is it? Japan's work pressure is breaking people, and Filipinos who value family, social life, and balance are struggling to survive in this system. Mark makes 190,000 yen a month. That's around 72,000 pesos. Sounds good, right? Bro, after rent, food, and transportation, he barely saves 10,000 pesos. Tokyo and Osaka are ranked among the most expensive cities in Asia. And the sad reality, many OFWs here work just to survive. No savings, no future, just endless work. Akawa ko yayaman ako dito. Yun pala, yayaman lang ang landlord at kuryente. I thought I'd get rich here. Turns out, only landlords and electricity companies get rich. So now, Filipinos are asking, why stay? Japan once welcomed foreign workers with open arms, but in 2025, visa renewals are getting harder, fewer jobs are available for foreigners. More companies are choosing Japanese workers over OFWs. Sound familiar? This is the same strategy that's pushing Filipinos out of Saudi Arabia and Hong Kong. The writing is on the wall. If Japan keeps tightening its rules, many OFWs will have no choice but to leave. Let's hit you with some hard fact. Japan's population is shrinking, meaning fewer customers, fewer businesses, fewer jobs. The yen is weakening, making remittances less valuable for OFWs. Inflation is rising, but salaries staying the same. If you're in Japan right now, you're probably wondering, is this the right place for my future? And for many, the answer is becoming a loud, clear no. Thousands of Filipinos are now looking at better destinations. Canada, higher wages, easier visa paths. Australia, strong demand for skilled workers. Germany, work-life balance and family-friendly policies. Because if Japan is closing doors, these countries, they're opening them. Would you still work in Japan despite these challenges? Or is it time to move on? Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's get real about this. And don't even think about blinking, because up next is a country Filipinos have called home for decades, but now it's turning into a survival game. Stay tuned, you need to hear this. Alright, kabayan, let's talk about the UK. For years, it's been a dream destination for Filipinos. A place where our kapwa OFWs built careers, sent money home, and created better lives. And if you're watching this, chances are you know someone working in the UK, or maybe you're there yourself. But 2025, the dream is starting to crack like a freshly baked pandesal under pressure. Let's talk about Jessa. She moved to London in 2016, fresh out of nursing school, full of hope and excitement. The pay was great, the NHS gave her stability, and she even got to travel across Europe on her days off. Not bad, right? But fast forward to today, and she's wondering if staying is even worth it. So what's going on? Why are Filipinos leaving the UK? Ever since Brexit, the UK has been tightening its immigration policies, and just last year, the government reduced the number of work visas given out by 32%, hitting healthcare workers hard. If you're trying to renew your visa, let's just say it's like playing patintero with immigration, except the rules keep changing and you're the only one getting tagged. And let's be honest, applying for a UK visa is like courting someone so torp, you submit all the requirements, do everything right, and still get ghosted. We all know London is expensive, but did you know that the average rent for a one-bedroom flat there is now £2,000 per month? That's 140,000 pesos. Even outside London, prices are soaring. Jessa told me, kahit doble kayod na, wala pa ring ipon, uwi na lang kaya ako. And she's not alone. Imagine working 12-hour shifts only to check your bank account and see just enough for a cup of tea and a Tesco meal deal. At this point, you might as well move into the hospital you work at least make free aircon. This one's brutal. Reports have come out that migrant workers, yes, including Filipinos, are getting charged up to £20,000, over 1,400,000 pesos just to get jobs in the care sector. That's illegal, by the way. And the worst part? Some Filipinos are stuck in overcrowded housing, paying sky-high rents for a Harry Potter-style cupboard under the stairs. Only difference? No magic, just stress. This one's harder to explain, but a lot of Filipinos are saying the UK doesn't feel as welcoming anymore. With tougher immigration laws and shifting attitudes, many are feeling like they're just temporary workers, never truly at home. It's like being at a party where you thought you were an honored guest, but suddenly the host starts giving you side eyes, checking their watch, and hinting that it's time to go. So what's next? Some Filipinos are heading back to the Philippines to start businesses. Others are looking to Canada, Australia, or even New Zealand, places with friendlier immigration policies and better work-life balance. What about you? If you're in the UK, are you staying or thinking of leaving? Drop a comment and let's talk about it. And hey, don't go anywhere. Up next, we're diving into another country where Filipinos are making big moves and big exits. This one's even wilder. Stay tuned. Something's happening in Taiwan. A quiet shift, but one that's sending thousands of Filipinos packing their bags. Contracts are ending early, wages aren't stretching far enough, and for many OFWs, the dream is starting to crack. Taiwan used to be a gold mine for factory workers, caregivers, and engineers. But in 2025, Filipinos are leaving faster than ever. The question is, why? And more importantly, should you? Factory jobs in Taiwan pay around 28,590 new Taiwan dollars, 51,000 pesos a month. It sounds great on paper, but here's the reality. Rent has shot up by 20%. Even dorm-style housing in Taiwan is a budget killer. Food prices? Insane. A simple meal that used to cost 50 new Taiwan dollars, now 80 new Taiwan dollars. Saving? What's saving? OFWs who used to send home 20,000 pesos a month are lucky to save even 5,000 pesos now. The hard truth? A salary means nothing if you can't build a future with it. If you thought job security in Taiwan was solid, 2025 is proving everyone wrong. Factories are automating, machines don't need salaries or contracts. The economy is slowing down, some companies are cutting workers early, especially foreigners. Taiwanese workers are being prioritized. The government is pushing for more local hires. That's why many OFWs, especially in manufacturing, are suddenly being told, sorry, no renewal. Leo left Cavite in 2018 with a plan, work 2 years, save up, and go home rich. It's 2025, he's still in Taiwan, but instead of moving up, he's stuck in the same routine. No promotions, no raises. The language barrier is a real struggle. Loneliness is setting in. Unlike in the UK or Middle East, Taiwan doesn't have a massive Filipino community. Then he looked at his bank account and thought, 7 years na ako dito, pero ganito pa rin. This is the big debate. Taiwan gave many OFWs a lifeline, but now many are choosing to leave. Some are heading back to the Philippines to start businesses. Others are looking at Canada, Australia, or even Japan for better long-term opportunities. Now over to you. If you're in Taiwan, do you feel the same? Is the situation getting harder, or do you still see a future here? Let's talk in the comments. What happens when your dream job starts feeling like a horror movie? At first, Hong Kong was the land of opportunity, good salaries, bustling city life, and a Sunday routine of gathering in Central like a high school reunion. But now, it's turning into an overpriced, high-pressure survival game. More and more Filipinos are waving palam to Hong Kong, and not just because they miss Jollibee's Chicken Joy. Something's changed. Bakit nan nangyayari? Let's break it down. Hong Kong's cost of living climbs faster than your chismosa neighbor's blood pressure during a telesherry cliffhanger. Rent, you'd think you were renting a palace, pero isang sulok lang sa apartment. Food prices, 50 Hong Kong dollars for a simple lunch. Mahadmasa feelings ng exumo, na hindi makamuman. Remittances, once upon a time, you could send 30,000 pesos home. Now, baka pamasa ha na lang papunta Palawan. OFWs came to earn more, not to feel like they're stuck in a financial black hole. Filipino domestic workers in Hong Kong are some of the hardest working people on the planet. 12 to 16-hour shifts, parang call center job na walang headset. 1 day off a week, suerte mo na kang kiripay pa sa last minute. No privacy? Try living in a tiny room na parang stockroom room Shopee. Some employers treat their helpers well, but others, parang inampan ka na walang benefits. Remember when Hong Kong was the safe, stable option? Well, now it feels like you're walking on eggshells. New labor laws could affect OFW job security. Protests and government changes make everything unpredictable. Some employers are hesitant to renew contracts. Sa madaling salita, trabaho mo hanggang bakain sigurado bukas. Leia arrived in Hong Kong in 2020, excited for a fresh start. She worked hard, sent money home, and even mastered the art of budgeting, aka pretending she's full after eating 2 siapaos. Then 2025 happened. Her food allowance got cut. Now she's surviving on instant noodles and prayers. Her employer demanded she work longer hours, but still on the same salary. The cost of living skyrocketed. Even her Sunday Starbucks treat felt like a major life decision. One day, after a 16-hour shift, she looked at her savings and whispered, "Para saan patu?" That's when she knew it was time to go. Filipinos are setting their sights on Canada, Australia, and even Japan, where wages are higher and working conditions are better. Others are heading back home to start businesses or at least enjoy unlimited rice again. But what about you? If you're an OFW in Hong Kong, are you feeling the pressure too? Are you planning to stay, or are you eyeing the exit sign? Sound off in the comments. Let's make this discussion louder than your Kapit Bahay's karaoke session. Smash that like button like it owes you money. It helps more Filipinos see this. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and join the Insider family. We've got more eye-opening and jaw-dropping stories coming your way. South Korea, the land of K-pop, K-drama, K-BBQ, and now K-goodbye. For years, Filipinos have flocked to South Korea, drawn by the promise of high-paying factory jobs, entertainment gigs, and a chance to breathe the same air as BTS. But something's changing in 2025. Filipinos aren't just leaving their K-drama binge-watching habits behind, they're leaving South Korea itself. But why? Working in Korea without knowing Hangul is like playing a video game on extreme mode with no tutorial. Imagine this. You're in a convenience store trying to buy shampoo, but you accidentally pick up fabric softener. Now your hair smells like fresh laundry. Your boss gives instructions entirely in Korean, you just nod and hope for the best. You thought Appa just meant cute guy, but it turns out you accidentally called your coworker an older brother, and now everyone's confused. Learning Korean isn't impossible, but when you're working 10 to 12 hours a day, who has time for language lessons? Google Translate can only do so much. In South Korea, work-life balance is a myth. Like unicorns or a Jollibee branch in Seoul. Overtime, standard. Strict workplace hierarchy? Welcome to real-life Squid Game. Except instead of cash, you get stress. High expectations, even if you work hard, it might never be enough. Many Filipinos dream of stability abroad, but in Korea, some find themselves burnt out, exhausted, and questioning their life choices. South Korea may have fast Wi-Fi, clean streets, and convenience stores open 24/7, pero kapag nakita mo ang presyo no papapasa ka. Rent small studio apartments cost a fortune. Food, a simple meal could drain your wallet faster than a BTS concert ticket. Savings, paraking, nahalag ng pera sa kumunoy wala nakipan. For many OFWs, the dream is to save money for their families back home. But when half of your salary goes to rent and the other half to instant ramen, what's left? The Filipinos are known for building strong communities abroad. But in South Korea, OFWs can sometimes feel like the extra in a K-drama. Always there, but never the main character. Filipino stores? Rare. Filipino food? Even rarer. Finding a fellow kababayan? Suwete mo na kang may Pinoy na bobero sa kanto. The lack of a strong Filipino community makes adjusting even harder, and for many, the loneliness isn't worth the paycheck. Jared, a 28-year-old from Cebu, moved to Korea in 2022 to work in a factory. He loved the fast-paced lifestyle, the food, and yes, the K-pop vibes. But after 3 years, reality hit him hard. His salary barely covered rent and daily expenses. He worked 14-hour shifts, 6 days a week, parang robot na walang charging break. He missed home-cooked Filipino food and talking to people without a language barrier. One day after another long shift, freezing cold weather, and a boss who yelled more than a K-drama villain, he asked himself, is this really worth it? Now Jared's planning to move to Canada, where work-life balance is better, and he can at least buy rice without breaking the bank. The big question, should Filipinos still move to South Korea? South Korea isn't all bad. It's an exciting place with good salaries and a modern lifestyle. But for many OFWs, the long hours, high costs, and cultural barriers are pushing them out. So what do you think? Is South Korea still worth it for Filipinos? Or is it time to explore new opportunities? Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's talk. Smash that like button, the YouTube algorithm loves it, and so do we. And don't even think about leaving yet, because the next country, let's just say Filipinos there are facing an even bigger dilemma. The UAE, land of towering skyscrapers, tax-free salaries, and shopping malls so vast you need GPS to navigate them. For years, Filipinos have flocked to this Middle Eastern oasis, lured by promises of prosperity and year-round sunshine. But in 2025, many are packing their bags saying, Salamat, Dubai, but it's time to go. So, what's causing this exodus? Let's dive into the sand dunes of reality. Sure, you're earning tax-free dirhams, but somehow your wallet feels lighter than a feather. Rent, even a modest studio apartment, can set you back 5,000 UAE dirhams, 75,000 pesos a month. That's like renting a palace back home. Food, a simple meal can cost 50 UAE dirhams, 750 pesos. Suddenly, your favorite Jollibee spaghetti feels like a luxury. Transportation, the metro's packed tighter than a balikbayan box, and taxis, let's not even go there. Despite the attractive salaries, many OFWs find themselves struggling to save, with expenses gobbling up their earnings faster than you can say shawarma. The UAE once promised boundless opportunities, but the sands are shifting. Amortization, the government's push to employ more UAE nationals, means fewer jobs for expats. Automation. Robots don't need visas. Many industries are automating roles, leaving workers redundant. Economic diversification. With the UAE moving away from oil dependency, some sectors are shrinking, leading to job cuts. As a result, job security is shakier than a camel on roller skates. Living in the UAE means navigating a complex web of cultural norms and strict laws. Social media caution. A careless post can lead to hefty fines or even jail time. Public behavior, displays of affection, save it for Skype. Public decency laws are no joke. Freedom of speech, criticizing the government, that's a fast track to deportation. For many Filipinos, adapting to these restrictions feels like playing a game where the rules can change without warning. While the UAE has made strides in labor reforms, challenges persist. Kafala system. This sponsorship system can tie workers to employers, limiting mobility. Passport confiscation. Despite being illegal, some employers still hold on to workers' passports, making escape from bad situations difficult. Wage issues, delayed payments, and wage theft remain concerns, leaving workers in financial limbo. These issues can make the desert dream feel more like quicksand. Carlos left Davao in 2018, dreaming of a better future in Dubai. He landed a job as a sales assistant, earning 3,000 UAE dirhams, 45,000 pesos, a month. At first, it seemed like a fortune, but reality set in. Rent, a shared apartment, ate up 1,500 dirhams. Food and transport, another 1,000 dirhams gone. Remittances, sending money home, left him with pennies. Despite working overtime, Carlos found himself barely breaking even. The final straw, his employer confiscated his passport, and when he protested, he was threatened with termination. Disillusioned, Carlos decided to return home, realizing that no amount of money was worth his dignity and well-being. The big question, is the UAE still the land of opportunity for Filipinos? While the UAE offers glitz and glamour, the underlying challenges are prompting many OFWs to reconsider their options. What about you? Are you an OFW in the UAE feeling the heat? Considering a move elsewhere or heading back home? Share your experiences in the comments below. Let's get the conversation going. Don't forget to hit that like button. It helps more Filipinos find this video. And if you haven't already, subscribe and join our community for more insights and stories. Singapore, once seen as the promised land for many Filipinos chasing financial security, is now pushing them out in 2025. What was once a city of opportunity is now a city of exhaustion. And for many OFWs, the dream is crumbling. Take Brian, a Filipino nurse who arrived in Singapore 5 years ago filled with hope. The pay was good, the city was clean, and everything seemed perfect. But as time went on, reality hit hard. Rent skyrocketed, food prices climbed, and saving money became nearly impossible. Every dollar he sent home felt like a battle, one that he was slowly losing. And Brian isn't alone. More and more Filipinos are saying goodbye to Singapore. Why? Because the cost of living has become unbearable. A simple meal at a hawker center that used to be affordable now burns a hole in their pockets. Rental prices have surged, making it impossible for workers to afford a decent place to stay. And let's not forget the brutal work culture, long hours, high expectations, and the constant pressure to perform. For OFWs in Singapore, the promise of a better life is slipping through their fingers. A recent report from the Ministry of Manpower shows that job competition is fiercer than ever and work pass renewals are becoming more difficult. Many Filipinos who thought they had job security are suddenly being let go as companies tighten their hiring policies. And then there's the social struggle. Filipinos have always been known for their resilience, but in a place where rules are strict and social circles are limited, the loneliness can be suffocating. The fast-paced lifestyle, the cultural expectations, it all adds up, leaving many feeling like outsiders, no matter how long they've been there. So where are they going? Some are heading back to the Philippines, disillusioned but determined to start over. Others are eyeing Canada and Australia, where work-life balance is better and job security is stronger. Singapore may have been a beacon of hope, but in 2025, that light is flickering. The question is, will it go out completely? And if Singapore is no longer an option, what's next for OFWs? If you're a Filipino in Singapore right now, let us know in the comments, are you staying or packing up? And if you haven't already, hit that like button so we can keep bringing you the latest updates. Now buckle up, because the next country on our list, well, let's just say it's even worse. For over a century, Filipinos have flocked to the United States, chasing that golden promise, a better life, a shot at success, a future for their families. But in 2025, that promise is breaking apart. The cost of living is at an all-time high, the immigration system has become a battlefield, and the very land that once embraced Filipinos is slowly pushing them out. Millions are now faced with a terrifying choice: stay and suffer or leave and start over. America's expensive, but in 2025, it's become a financial war zone. A gallon of milk, $6. A one-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles, $2,500 a month, minimum. Even a simple trip to the grocery store feels like robbery in broad daylight. Inflation is suffocating everyone, and no matter how hard you work, the dream of saving money, dead on arrival. Ana, a nurse from Manila, came to the US in 2018. She worked 12-hour shifts, took care of patients, and believed that one day could send enough money home to buy her family a house. Fast forward to 2025, she's drowning in rent, barely surviving, and questioning everything. I left my family behind so I could give them a better life, she says, her voice breaking. Now, I'm struggling to even feed myself. But financial hardship is only half the battle. New immigration laws are tearing families apart. Deportations have increased by 40%, and even those with legal status are living in fear. A father goes to work in New York. By nightfall, he's detained. A mother picks up her kids from school. She never makes it home. The land of the free is becoming the land of uncertainty. The Filipino community is no stranger to hardship, but this is different. Many are realizing they may never feel at home in America. Isolation cuts deeper than any financial struggle. Many Filipinos spend years, sometimes decades, away from their loved ones, only to realize that the better life they worked so hard for isn't really theirs to enjoy. Jose, a construction worker in Chicago, left the Philippines when his son was 2 years old. That little boy is now 15. I sacrificed everything so my son could have a good life, Jose says, but the other day he told me he barely knows me. That broke me. So he made a decision. He's leaving America. More and more, Filipinos are realizing America may no longer be the land of milk and honey. It's a land of struggle and sacrifice with no end in sight. Some are heading back home, reclaiming the lives they left behind. Others are seeking greener pastures. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, places where they feel welcomed, not just tolerated. America will always hold a place in Filipino hearts. It was a land of dreams, a land of sacrifice, a land that held both triumph and tragedy. But now, for many, it's time to say goodbye. If you were in their shoes, would you stay and fight for a dream that's slipping away? Or would you walk away and start anew? Comment below, we want to hear your thoughts. And don't forget, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more stories about the Filipino global journey. We've covered 10 countries, we've seen the struggle, the heartbreak, and the hope, but what happens next? Where are Filipinos going? Stay tuned because the next chapter is about to begin.